Hello and welcome back to the Biography Lens series with me, Annie, here on Bios, Memoirs, and Brilliance. Today, we come to the final episode in our exploration of Tom Bauer's Betrayal, as you can see here. And of course, over the course of the series, we have examined a number of excerpts, each offering a very particular perspective on Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and of course the wider dynamics of the royal family. But in this final episode, I would like us to step back, not simply to revisit the details, but to reflect on the wider picture. Now, you will recall that throughout the series, we introduced what I call the biography lens score, looking at three elements, one being research, the other being balance, and of course, the third being storytelling. And while scores are helpful, they are only one part of the picture, because ultimately biographies do more, right? They do something far more powerful. They shape how we see people. And so this brings me to the first theme I want to explore with you today, which is also striking in Betrayal, and that is the theme of power of narrative. And in today's world, we have, of course, figures or public figures who are not just living their lives, they are also constantly part of the story being told. And what ultimately ends up emerging is not just a single story, nor a single fixed truth, but a much more layered narrative that is shaped by perspective, it is shaped by intention, and it is also shaped by interpretation on the part of the reader or the ultimate consumer. And so this then brings me to the next theme, and that is the tension between public image and private reality, because the individuals at the center of this story exist in a space where personal decisions become public discussion, private relationships become global headlines, and perception becomes far more powerful than fact, whether we like it or not, which is why they're constantly rushing to whitewash their past and fix the narrative, the public narrative. And this is, for me, where biography becomes particularly influential, because it does not simply report on events, it frames them. And the next thing I want to talk about is the question of family and institution, because at the center of the story, we have, of course, the royal family, which one might say at its core is just like any other family with complexities of human relationships. And most of us can relate to this. And we shouldn't lose sight of that. But on the other hand, there is also an institution that they're part of, right? And they're bound by tradition, they're bound by expectation, and some of the symbolism we've had opportunity to explore throughout the series. So what we see now is that when those two elements come into tension, the consequences are rarely contained or rarely contained. They end up unfolding in a global stage, as we've seen. So the question then becomes, where does this leave the reader? To my mind, perhaps with a reminder that every biography, no matter how detailed, how researched, or how compelling, is still just one interpretation of events. It offers insight, certainly, but it also invites opportunity for critical thinking on the part of the reader. And I think perhaps that's the real value of reading biography and memoir, because it's not simply to absorb the story, but to engage it thoughtfully. Betrayal is, without question, provocative and engaging work. It raises questions about themes many of us can relate to, like loyalty, ambition, influence, and public life. And whether one agrees with its conclusions or not, it certainly succeeds in doing one thing, and that is to keep the conversation going. Don't you think so? So this is where I will leave it. And at this point, I would like to hear from you. Having followed the series, what is your overall view of Betrayal? And more broadly, what do you believe makes a great biography? Please include your feedback in the comments. And I read your insights with great interest, and they're, as always, much appreciated. Thank you so much for joining me. And in the next series, we'll continue with another remarkable story and explore biography and memoir and the individuals who shape our world. I'll see you then. Bye for now.